to be a servant of the individual and the social being. Now, the individual is mostly about the sensory, how we perceive our reality through our five senses. It's also about understanding who you are. What are you standing for? Are you standing up for your beliefs of who you are, etc., etc.? And the heart department, the blue ray, is more focused about emotions. So you could also say it's the masculine side, the red, or the feminine side. These two has to merge together, and in order to do that, we need the mental to embrace those two on their own premises. So this is a long, long process. You could call it, it's the process of uniting the opposites. So, yeah, I guess that is...
Well, early on you mentioned the idea of a 2-year or 20-year retreat. Obviously we don't kind of do that other than when we are in prison or something. So can we make that retreat process somehow something that we do in our daily lives?
Yeah, it's only meant for a few individuals in the world to do a real retreat, but there are a lot of methods in how to go into that inner space, that existential loneliness, to get more and more familiar. And actually this is preferable for most people, because it's about doing it with the least amount of fear involved. So, but there are methods and ways to go inwards, introspection, and go in and feel and feel and feel and experience that.
So this kind of thing can be a daily process that we begin to work towards, and where is that introspective place for me, kind of thing?
It should, if you want to, it should be a daily practice. If you go to there are workshops that promote a retreat-like situation, like come here and spend a week in silence, and that is okay. But actually this practice should be done every day, because the longer you do it, the deeper you go. Mm-hmm. And of course a weekend or a week or a month in silence is okay, of course. But every day it should be like that.
Okay, is there part of the third ray, the yellow ray, relates to creativity? How does that blend into what you're talking about? Like you said, the yellow ray was the connection of both the red and the blue. How does that promote the creative aspect?
Well, the creation, when we talk about the mental department, we can take up the subject of thoughts, which we relate to the mental department. And when we are born into this life, we don't understand the language. And slowly we learn the words, and with words comes thoughts. So imagine you are being sent to China without knowing Chinese. You cannot find your way around, because you cannot even understand what's written on signs, and you can't understand the language. So this is what a child is confronted with during the upbringing and the process of learning language and thoughts. So that takes an extremely creative, open mind to learn a language like that. So behind every thought is that creative force that opens us to embrace and try to understand and learning. So behind every thought is this creative force. You could call it the child in us. The children are very, very curious. They want to explore everything. And of course they do it by the sensory perception, and they do it emotionally, and those are the tools to learn language, bit by bit.
So that rings a bell for me in a sense, because I think that most people, as the older they get, the more they've boxed things up, and generally, and the less really open they are to that inquisitive child and just the awe of what's going on around us.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting perspective on it.
That's correct. We all have that child, no matter how old we are. We all have that child in us. And it's really a very strong creative force. We just get so used to thinking. It actually possesses us. Thought patterns are possessing us. It's part of our karmic journey. It's also why it's very difficult to make our thoughts the servant of our process, because through the thoughts patterns we want to be in control, and you cannot control emotions at all. You cannot control how you experience life through the five senses and who you are. It's impossible. So learning how to use the mental department to support the sensory perceptions of life and our emotional life, that is very difficult, but it's really possible.
All right. That's sounds like a lot of work over a long period of time.
It is. Constant, every day.
All right.